correctly. My air conditioner isn't working today, so it's warm in here. It's kind of hot, so if my face is a little shiny, that's why. But luckily it's not too hot outside yet, and they're gonna get it fixed before the temperatures, summer gets into full swing, so that's gonna be good. Give another few seconds, and then I'm gonna get started on this one fairly quickly. I'm trying to keep them as short as I can and get the information that I want to out there, so. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything started. Welcome and thank you so much for watching. This is the 6th video in the 10-part series that I'm doing, just trying to address some of the most common concerns that I run across when serving my clients. So today's topic is headaches. And this one seems like it should be pretty easy, right? When you have a headache, you should use this herb this way, and then poof, the pain's all gone. But your body really doesn't work that way. Sure, there are certain herbs and essential oils that can temporarily give you relief from pain, but are you willing to consider that the healing, the underlying issues can ensure that not only can you reduce the pain, but the headaches can actually go away? But before I get started, I want to go maybe explain something a little better than I have in the past, just to kind of clarify. I often use terms when dealing with any kind of physical pain or discomfort, if it's head pain, sore muscles, runny nose, whatever it happens to be. I always say that you need to be, one of the most important steps for you to do is to become neutral about the pain. But when I say become neutral, I'm not saying just suffer through it or just pretend it doesn't exist. It's understanding that your body through these symptoms isn't out to get you, that it's actually just trying to communicate that there's something wrong on a deeper level. One of the examples I ended up using yesterday with the client actually was the way my house is set up. Like my son's bedroom's here, then there's a bathroom across the hall and my bedroom's here. So it creates this triangle. And at night, if he has to get up and use the restroom, we used to turn the light off in the bathroom, never. And of course, because of the way it's done, that triangle, the light always ended up right in my face. There were times that I had violent thoughts, I guess you want to say, about that light. Like for real, I would think things like I'm gonna go rip that light out of the wall, or I'm gonna break every light bulb in this house. It was in my face, I was awake, I was aggravated. But of course, the light was never out to get me. It doesn't do anything on purpose. It just exists. It's a neutral thing. The same as your achy knee or your headache or your runny nose. It's just a symptom that exists. It's not anything or anyone out to attack you or harm you or make your life more difficult. So of course, my next train of thought would be, I'm gonna have to get on to my kid tomorrow. He has got to stop leaving the light on, right? And that seems like a natural course. But when your kid forgets to do something, a chore or whatever, you talk to them, make sure they stop. But what I've learned through the course of this training and my research is that I've started asking questions first instead of just correcting. So the conversation would go something like, do you realize that you're leaving the light on? Do you understand that this light keeps me awake? Why are you leaving it on? Well, after this type of conversation, I actually learned something. The house is very dark at night. He doesn't feel safe walking across the hallway without leaving some kind of light on. So he does leave the light on intentionally, but not to make my life more difficult. He's leaving it on because he has certain needs that aren't being met. So we just found it, once we got to the root of the problem, we got a night light for the hallway, and now he doesn't need to keep the bathroom light on, and I sleep better without this light in my face, right? So it's getting to the root cause and understanding that the light itself is neutral. That's not something that needs to be attacked or broken. And then by asking the right questions, I got to the root of the problem, and so we were able to solve it, and so now that's not an issue anymore when it comes to my sleeping. I like to approach headaches or really any pain or physical symptom the same way. At any point during the night when the light was on, I could have gotten up and switched the light on, but then I was constantly having to do it. I would have had to do it every time that he got up to use the restroom. It's made things so much easier to never have the light left on in the first place. So what I want to start with the headaches is, of course, the what, like the structure of my other videos. What kind of headache is it? Where, location-wise, does your head hurt? Is it a dull ache? Is it really intense? Does the pain run down your neck? Is it on one side of your head or the other? Does it move? Do any other parts of your body hurt when you get headaches? Is there a particular situation that happens either immediately before the headache starts or right after? You know how some people get headaches when they get stressed? I used to get them after a stressful situation was over, rather than during it. So like if my husband were to go to leave for work for a month or so, I wouldn't get any headaches at all the whole time he was gone. Then almost the second that he would walk through the door, it would start. These really intense headaches coupled with these body aches and this nausea. Doctors, of course, at the time were calling it migraines, but then I started to realize what it was, again, asking my own questions, doing my own research, and understanding that my head wasn't out to, like, kill me. Because that my body was, that's how my body reacted to releasing all of those stress hormones that had been trapped up and running through my body for the past several weeks. And that was just how my body reacted, but I never would have gotten there had I not paid attention to the what's of what was going on with me physically and in my life in general to be able to uncover the root of the problem and then move on to ensure that those types of headaches didn't happen again. And so in identifying a type of headache, it's best to get really, really specific in terms of lifestyle, diet, body changes, hormonal changes, because that is going to lead to the path that'll get us to the why. And once we're at the why, then we can actually look at some true and lasting healing. Some physical reasons why they exist in the first place. Of course, we just talked about stress, but dehydration, hormone cycles, those are physical keys that can be addressed in a physical way most of the time. But some headaches, especially if they're chronic or they're more regular, they have a deeper emotional connection. And those are often things like feeling out of control, self-criticism or judging others, not trusting other people in your life, not knowing how to stand up for yourself, a feeling that there is someone out to get you, ignoring your own needs. It's a form of self-punishment. And then often it's also like you're needing love and attention and approval from other people. And I know what you're saying is, great, Kayla, this is wonderful. But how do I work on that while I'm in pain, right? And I totally understand. Pain can and is so distracting that the idea of going deep on any emotional process is just, it's almost laughable. So when you're in the midst of pain, the idea of doing anything else just isn't going to happen. You need the pain to stop, right? So here are some of the whys to help alleviate the symptoms while you're working to find the deeper, either emotional or physical root causes. Lavender essential oil is good for temporary but immediate relief. It kind of relaxes your muscles and your blood vessels, and it can give you some relief from the pain, but while you're experiencing the headache, you pretty much have to keep it handy because it's temporary, especially if it's a very severe or migraine type headache. Valerian is something that, it's a great herb that I use for people who have trouble falling asleep. And again, it works similar to lavender, but in a different way. It also relaxes the muscles and the blood vessels, which can stop the pain associated with particular types of headache, especially migraine and stress headaches. If your headaches tend to follow your menstrual cycle, then there are some herbs that can smooth out those big hormone fluctuations. Those include chaste tree, raspberry leaf, lady's mantle, and blue cohosh is another one. Those are really good. They're not going to stop the cycle, and you may still have some discomfort, but those big drops and peaks and valleys that a lot of women, especially younger women, experience when their cycles are on, those can smooth those out, so the chances of those hormone-related headaches are going to be reduced. For some people, being in a situation where you stand out, like if it's public speaking or in a crowd, or just meeting new people in your office, those can induce headaches and things like back pain. If that's a situation where you're noticing that you're getting headaches, like your headaches are popping up, blue vervain is actually a really good option. The plant even grows that way, like it grows really tall and upright with these beautiful flowers on the top. It kind of mimics stepping comfortably into your light and standing out on your own. The plant grows that way, and it actually works really well to kind of prevent headaches from happening if you notice that that's the pattern that you tend to fall in. Another one for stress headaches that can kind of be taken daily to prevent the onset of stress headaches is feverfew. That one works really well, and there's a lot of herbalists out there who just say take it every day and then you'll never have another stress headache again. I prefer to use that one only in conjunction with working to relieve the source of the stress and anxiety in the first place, because the ultimate goal is to get you off of these adaptogenic or these stronger herbs to begin with. Like, it's to get you to a point where you don't have to experience the headache, so therefore you're not having to worry about what you can take for the pain relief anyway. If you have headaches at night, especially if you've had like a busier than normal workday where your head's running, you're not really super stressed, but you had very busy and your brain was running 100 different directions during one day, On those where you get headaches in the evening, lemon balm, passion flower, and lemon verbena, either separately or together, are really good options to use. That way, like when you get home from work, you have the cup of tea, then you can probably avoid the headache later that evening. And so those of you who may or may not know, I like using willow bark as an alternative to aspirin. Aspirin is actually derived from white willow bark, but the aspirin that you take at the store is a very highly concentrated version of it. And that's what tends to, if you have a sensitive stomach, it tends to upset people's stomach, and you get heartburn, you get things like that because it's so concentrated. Where if you use the herb, it's a much more mild application of the herb, and so you still get the same inflammation and pain relieving aspects of it, but without that really like intense thing that will mess with your digestive system. And another added benefit of white willow bark is that you don't always have to use it internally. One of my favorite things to do with it is you take a little pouch, these muslin pouches, or you can even use an old stocking, and you can put white willow bark and lavender in there, and then you make it as a bath soak. So you get the pain and inflammation relief from the willow bark, and then the relaxing effects of the lavender all together through your skin while you're soaking in the bath. And I find that extremely effective and even just relaxing. Like at night, if you've worked out and your muscles are sore, it's a great way to just kind of soak away some of the pain. So as always, please feel free to comment with your questions below, or message me or text me, call me directly. I'm always available via messenger to answer you too. And I love to talk to you guys. I can go on forever. I'm really trying hard to keep these at 10 minutes or so, just so that I don't take up a whole lot of your time, but still get the amount of information in there that will be at least somewhat helpful to you. Next week's video is going to be on Wednesday, June 2nd at 10 a.m. This one's a little different than these last ones. It's all about the guys in your life. For those who don't know me personally, I've been married for 26 years and I have 3 sons. And even though they all live with me, they're still hesitant about, diving into alternative treatments for any kind of physical ailment they have, especially when it comes to the emotional processing stuff. And so next week I'm going to talk a little bit just about my experiences and observations when it comes to how and what they are willing to use, and then some of the most effective herbs that they have used, and some tips and tricks that I have to get them to take it, especially like the teenage boy age when they really don't want to take anything at all consistently. So, and then there's also we can go into a little about transformational stuff, but it's really just going to be about the guys. I'm going to hit some high points, just kind of my experience on what works, how it works, and why it's worked for my people. And so maybe some of that you can apply to the men in your life too. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to talking to you next week.